You're nobody. You're nobody.
3, 2, 1, we're live now.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Willetta Effect. I'm nobody, you're nobody, the co-hosts are nobody, and the biggest nobody of all, our guest today, Alex Clancy. You're nobody, but you are somebody to me.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
somebody
that,
today.
man.
We're going to allow
Somebody
it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I appreciate it.
I miss you, man.
I know. I miss you too.
So, if you've ever been a young employee in any workplace, be it a restaurant or, a Dairy Queen, and there's an older person that's there and they kind of mentor you. I mean, very old. It hurts their knees when they get up, kind of old. But they mentor you and they show you the ways. They teach you to put the Jack Daniels into your Thirst Buster from the Circle K before you hit the casino. I mean, that kind of mentor. That is what this guy is to me. So, Alex, you want to take a moment to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Alex Clancy. First of all, that's like the top tier of what I've done for you, is tell you to put Jack in a styrofoam cup in our Uber while our Uber looks back at us like, what are you guys doing? I met Lou, I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
8 years ago. I was
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah. So met at a restaurant, hit it off, and I'm here now because I've worked in radio a little bit. I do a podcast, and when I saw the picture, obviously, Crystal, you're very good at what you do. I was like, I kind of want to be a part of that because Lou's hair is too long and I want to make fun of him for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
I thought you were going to hit them with a full circle story.
About what?
Full circle. You brought me on to do a little bit. When
Oh, that's right. Okay, so quickly. So I'd worked in radio, and I was trying to get a little more texture to it, learn a little bit more about production, and went to this trade school, and I had to do this interview with somebody that I knew, and 4 or 5 people said no, and I texted Lou, and I was like, dude, come on, and because here's the thing. This is what Lou, like a little brother, he always thought the radio was easy. He's like, listen, all you do is just turn a mic on and talk. And that's what a lot of people think. And I was like, okay, this will be fun then. So I brought him in. we go in, we sit down, and we're talking about, I can't remember what we were talking about. Is it football or basketball? I think it was basketball,
yeah,
right?
No, it was football. You had me predict who was going to win each division in the NFL that year. It was before the season started.
Oh, man, good memory.
I just wanted to make you look like a fool real fast.
No. It would have been fun. It was it was beneficial for both of us.
I think I hit 5 picks.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. It was mutually beneficial because I got my project finished and I got to talk to my boy, and then he got a little just insight. It wasn't like ill-willed. It was just I wanted him to see what it was like, just in a little faction of what radio is. So he got that. We were done. He looked at me kind of bewildered, and I'm like, that's all I wanted. So yeah, and then now after this started, I reached out and I was like, it'd be fun to do it the other way around this time. So
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Call him out like that.
I was not bewildered. Actually, it was so easy that I said anybody can do this. Shit, if Clancy could do it, I'm going to start a podcast just 6 years later.
Yeah, 7 years later. Absolutely.
Anybody could do it, to the point that when he came on, he's like, do you want me to start the introduction? We're all looking at each other like, who do you, I can do it.
No, I was going to. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was ready. Clancy was still getting his makeup done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We got a professional in the room today, guys.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Yeah. So, Louis, real quick, just to say that once again, we all met in restaurant. I met you kind of through Lou, through working there. Chris, were you working there at the same time?
I don't know if I worked with you.
You did.
For
the 10 minutes you were there?
Yeah, so we all
Yeah.
worked at the same restaurant.
Don't recommend friends and family for jobs, people.
Restaurant work is hard, man. My wrist still hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Those trays,
Yeah.
they're really heavy.
My body's messed up forever.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, we met in a restaurant, and then it's been what seems like an eternity. I would think I was like 18, 19, I'm 26 now. But we brought you on because you're kind of a badass.
Thank
And
you.
I didn't even know because Lewis was like, yeah, Clancy, you remember Clancy? And I'm like, yes, I do. But he's like, yeah, he works in radio. I was like, wait, what the like, how did that even happen? I met you at a restaurant. You were a server, and now you're like a sports host producer for iHeartRadio. I mean, like, how do you get there?
Well, I mean, the rest. So, I graduated college 10 years ago. I was living in San Diego, working 70 hours a week, and I just hated my life. And ended up having a friend of a friend know Kwame Lassiter used to play with the Cardinals. He just actually passed away. Kwame was the best, man. And he's like, move out to Arizona. I'll introduce you to Kwame, and who had a radio show on this internet radio station. I had no scope of what radio was at all. I just wanted to do it, and I wasn't doing anything else. So I moved out here for 6 months, worked, and then I got introduced to him, and I was given a shot. He's like, just come in, and we'll put you on, and we'll see. He's like, there's no guarantee. So I moved my life out here and ended up being on that show for 4 years, which was cool, or 3 years. And then I made a mistake. I got canned from there, and then I mean, it wasn't bad. I tried to start my own show before going through the actual channels. I didn't know. I mean, I learned it all on the fly. Got picked up by 1060 to do some fill-in spots, really minimal stuff, and then ended up doing the trade school that Lou and I did the thing for, and then I reported traffic on iHeartRadio. Like, reporting traffic is so much harder than it sounds. Like, if you're driving and you're like, accident on 7th Avenue and Highland, whatever. It's like having to do that. You're reading 3 screens. One, you're looking at cameras on the highways, on the freeways. You're reading the screens with all the production of what to say, and that changes momentarily, every second. And then you have to record something in, 16 seconds. You have to do all that at once, nail it, and they're not live usually, but it's difficult to do. Yeah. I never was able to do it. Like, I talked sports a lot, but traffic's different. It's a different animal. And then I transitioned back. I wanted to learn the production side, like all the behind-the-scenes stuff, because I'd done the hosting, so I did the behind-the-scenes stuff, and then I got back into sports, and I've hosted some shows, and then I took the producer role I'm in now for Resume Builder. It's a great show. I believe in the host, and I have some co-hosting responsibilities, but it's a lot about booking guests and audio production, so now I'm able to sell myself as an entity, which I've done. Like, when I fill in host, which I'll do again in December for a week or so, I'm doing all of it. So I'm doing 2 people's jobs at once because I can, and I could save my boss money. Yeah. So all at once, I'm going to commercial, doing audio, playing music, doing everything, and hosting a show for 4 hours. So that's what I wanted the end goal to be, and I was able to get there. So it's good. So the restaurant, radio doesn't pay that much. So the restaurant facilitated everything, and I've been doing it forever. So it gave me the flexibility I needed to be able to do the radio stuff.
Yeah.
So.
You still work in restaurant?
No. So I got COVID.
Yeah.
And currently, right now, as we speak,
yeah,
he has
I got COVID. I got COVID before it was trendy. Okay,
You can't make that joke, Crystal.
I know. We're gonna mute that out.
I got COVID on June 1st, and I haven't gone back. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I miss it. We talk all the time. All we talk about, Lou and I, is how much we miss the restaurant business. We're the antithesis of you. Chris,
Some people are just fucking built for restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, the people you meet in restaurants are all the loudest person in their friend group.
Yeah.
So when you take all the loudest people in their friend group and throw them together, well, you end up at Zips until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
8 margaritas deep.
Yeah,
It's
4 days a week.
It's
like,
ridiculous.
it was bad for a long. It was fun for.
Yeah,
a
but
long
it was
time.
fun.
We had a great group where we were at. We won't mention the restaurant now because it's a wall. But it's a wall now. Yeah.
They haven't put anything there yet?
No, because it's probably $70,000 a month for rent.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
But yeah, the restaurant facilitated everything.
So I got a funny story. I remember when I had first started at this restaurant, I was a host. Alex Clancy was a server. Lewis was a server. Chris was putting in his 2-week notice.
Yeah, probably.
As
I got hired.
Right. And I remember it was like my 2nd, 3rd week, and I was like, oh my God, like, there's so many people coming in. I don't know where to seat them. All these servers are like, stop double seating, stop. And I remember you walked up to me and you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm here to make money. So like, if you want to see me back to back to back to back. And I was like, and I was always like intimidated. I was like, I don't know how to read this guy. I can't tell if he likes me, doesn't like me, hates everyone, likes everyone. I was like, I don't know. And then as soon
Depends
as
on the day.
No, and then
Alex is a very dry sense of humor.
yeah, and then he came up and said that to me, and I was like, this is my favorite server.
Yeah.
Officially, this is my favorite server. I think I sent you like
Thanks.
3 tables. Well, aside from
Well, you got to be good as a favorite server.
Good enough to manage.
Yeah.
Ugh. They always take the weak servers to manage. Do you not understand this?
I know that
Those
now.
who can't do
I know
coach.
that now.
I mean, no.
They take the youngest, the best young server, and just crush his dreams.
So
That's
I
what they
was
do.
the best. Is that
You were the best of like 3, and the other 2 were inept. So
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's honestly the closest I will get to a compliment coming from Grandpa Clancy.
That's
so
not
I
true.
truly appreciate
that's
that.
not true.
Going back to radio, had you like growing up, were you like, you know what, I want to be in the entertainment business, like this is what I want, or what sparked that? What the hell, let's try radio.
It was the friend that I had that was mutual with Kwame, self-made millionaire. Dude was a grinder. Like he had 3 jobs and he was making like he was a beast. And I wanted to just get information because I didn't like where I was, and I was working a lot. I wasn't making that much money. I'm just like, I hate all of this. And I'm like, can I get just buy you coffee and talk just about life and how to get from being a 22-year-old, 24-year-old without a job to where I want to be. And he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, something with PR and marketing. He goes, bullshit. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to be in radio. I didn't even think. It's just what came out of my mouth. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I didn't really ever think about that before. He's like, okay, well, I can make that happen. So that was it. Like we always talk sports. I've always been, the best part about our relationship regarding Lou's and my relationship about sports is he's way more stat driven than me. Like it's the age gap. Like with me, it wasn't all about Googling things and stats. It was about watching something and making opinions based upon what you watch. Maybe box scores, but he's taught me a lot about statistical analysis, which is something I never really got before. And I don't really like to do now, but I'll add a percentage of that into what I talk about. So it's been a whole just learning curve since I decided. But sports has been forever.
Yeah.
Sports has been my life forever, and I think I'm pretty good at talking to people, and it just kind of meshed. But again, it's talking in radio is different than talking in real life. Like it's not like you're speaking a different language, but it's the didgeridoo, the big hippie instrument that's like. So it's like looks like a big stick.
Yes.
The people, it's like people
I know.
breathe. It's called they circular breathe to keep the sound going. That's how I describe radio. It's circular thinking. Like you have to constantly be thinking about what you're going to say next, without taking a beat.
Yeah.
It's just got to be there. You have to trust your brain to just synthesize what you know into what you want to say, and you do it. Like I'm making it sound a lot harder than it is, but it's different. So
No, I mean,
a
I
lot
can
of
it
getting
is
used to.
hard.
I can say firsthand when I was up there speaking, we'll have debates and discussions regarding players or teams or just anything sports related constantly, and I'm never at a loss for words. You can ask my friends, I talk too much. But when when the microphone's in front of you and you're not bouncing it back and forth with someone because he's waiting, you don't want to talk at the same time. There's these awkward pauses if you aren't continuously throwing out ideas, and it was difficult for me for the first like 4 or 5 minutes that we did that little exercise. But towards the end, I thought I got a little better. Yeah. But definitely, it is constant. You don't want that lapse in speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were in radio until. Well, it was a while now.
Until today.
No, it was a while now because I think we were drinking one time and you're like, yeah, I'm on this Locked On podcast. I was, oh, shoot, okay. But it's fun. I used to, before I wanted to do a podcast, I always listened to them because I used to be a mailman. So, you just got your headphones in. You're not supposed to, so of course I didn't. But I listened to podcasts all day. And I was like, dude, you guys should. And the first person I told Lou is, and I was like, dude, you, Baker, and Clancy should make a podcast. Just talk sports. Because that's literally what you guys do. Every time we went out drinking, that's all you guys did was talk sports. And I was like, I think that would be cool. And I don't know, I would just say that, but I never knew that you had one. And then we started this, and then I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals podcast has been tough.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's like, Cardinals has been sucky.
Yeah.
Just the last 2 weeks.
Like, well, I mean, the last but like 20. I started in 2017, so it was Carson Palmer getting hurt mid-year, David Johnson being out the whole year, and then 2018. Fun stat, if you're a Cardinals fan, the Cardinals scored less points per game in the 2018 season than the Detroit Lions team in 2008, who went 0-16.
Nice.
14 points per game.
That's just a fun little tidbit.
That I had to
14 points.
14.1 points per game.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, so I had to go through that 5 days a week with the podcast. But now it's media members need it too. Need the Cardinals to be good too, and it's good that they're getting better.
Yeah.
Speaking of being like on the spot, I was watching some of your Instagram videos where you're like, call me if you have a comment, if you disagree with me, call me.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people who like you're like
I'll show you my Twitter
you're like
feed.
question me, and I'm gonna shut you down that I'm right and
I
you're
never
wrong.
said that. But
No. It was just kind of like, this is what I think, and if you think different, let me know.
Yeah.
So let's say somebody does call on the radio. Like, how do you react to that? Are you just like,
Well,
has anybody ever actually?
It's not. It's more.
It's all Twitter. Like, Twitter is, people, especially because people on Twitter, you can be anonymous.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Smith, 12397. You have no picture. You could be anybody, and you could say whatever you want. Twitter's where people just rip into me. It's like 2 days ago, I said that the Texans should think about trading Deshaun Watson for 3 first-round picks. And I just wanted to get a conversation out. And I just got abused. I said...
You say a lot of things for shock value.
Yeah, I do.
You are Skip Bayless.
No, I'm not. I'm more rational than Skip Bayless. I said something... Well, the one thing that I did say that I believe is I think that Kyler... If you need a quarterback to win one game, I would take Kyler Murray over Lamar Jackson. If you're down 2 scores... I would take Kyler because I think Kyler Murray could throw a team back into a game and Lamar Jackson can't. And I got DMs from Ravens fans saying, I'm going to find you and I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, it was...
Well,
Ray
as
Lewis
a
will
Ravens
find you.
fan, I actually agree with that. Lamar Jackson can't come back in a game.
But the rationale of people, like, diehard fans aren't rational. Fanatics aren't rational.
No.
So I appreciate your...
Yeah, but I was like, no, I get... And I think they were even talking about in the Chiefs games. He's, like, been down. He's 0-6, I think, when he's down in the second half or fourth quarter or something like that. But when he's up in that quarter, he's won them all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he doesn't come back. He just wins or he scores points and then just keeps scoring points.
Does that mean he's a game manager?
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm
best
just saying.
game manager ever.
Yeah, MVP worthy.
But yeah, it took a while to realize that it's like, the first couple times you get, like, little needle in the neck, it's like, well, that wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
Like, when people attack, but it's just like, after a while, it's like, okay. And you just look at the bio of the person when I'm talking crap about their favorite player. It's just obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at first you were just kind of like taking it home with you, and now you're like, I don't.
A little bit.
care.
I mean, it's just like, oh man, you're gonna kill my dog. Like they didn't. I mean, I never got that.
Kill my dog.
But it's like, something like that. It's like, what if I could beat the crap out of him? Like, oh, that's not very nice, Mr. Baltimore. But yeah, after a while, it's comical at this point.
And then as far as because you have to be, like you were saying with traffic, you just have to know right on the spot. As far as sports go, like, are you just like surrounded with TVs? I don't know.
No, it's there's a lot more that goes into so like, say I'm filling in for the show, so the show's 4 hours long. The show's at 6 a.m. I'm normally there at 4:30, and I've done my prep and stuff. Like, I've done my prep and stuff the day before. The beauty and the tough part about a morning show is you're the first person that gets to say anything on the topics the whole day, but also a lot of stuff happens after you go to sleep, or while you're starting to form your thoughts for the day. Something will break at 9 o'clock at night. It's like, so you have to kind of catch up the next morning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of prep. A lot of prep. So every segment, I know what I'm going to talk about before the show starts. So you have to be prepared for it like that. You don't need the constant barrage of information when the show starts. That's showtime.
Yeah.
Like, you've learned your lines, kind of. You're doing a play. It's entertainment, and it's how tired I am at the end of a show is, like, I'm yawning
Unreal.
on my drive home. It's like, because you have to be on for imagine doing this for 4 hours.
Yeah.
No.
You get 3 or 4 minute breaks 4 times an hour. But, like, it's a physical grind.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's great.
Has it changed for like COVID? Just talking about like things break. I know it's like last game. I have a team where I have Alvin Kamara, right? And then they're like, all right, one of the Saints player tested positive. I was up that night, but if I wasn't, gaming or whatever, I wouldn't see. I think it was like 4:35 in the morning. They're like, oh no, he retested. It was negative. I'm like, that's crazy. At like 5 in the morning, people were like checking it.
That's because you got to think East Coast. East Coast is king
true.
for that.
Yeah.
Woj doesn't sleep.
Yeah. Woj and Schefter.
That's
and
why.
Rappaport lives in. I think he's in. I don't know. He's on the East Coast somewhere. So
they take 30-minute naps every 4 hours.
Yeah.
Very strict coffee, cranberries, and nuts diet. It's a whole thing.
So has that impacted you then too with all the COVID?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's when it first started. What was it? March 12th, I think, was the day that Rudy Gobert tested positive. It's like, are we gonna have jobs? Like, that was the first thing that it wasn't the first thing, but it's like, if this continues and there's no sports for a year, I ain't talking news.
Yeah.
So like, it ended up being like, are we gonna have a Netflix hour where we just talk about our favorite shows because there's gonna be no sports? But it's like, the way I describe it is, it's like you're a fly on the wall in a boardroom at the 100th floor of a skyrise in New York City. It's all business. All of the whole screen of entertainment has just been stripped away. Yeah. So the stuff with baseball, it was you're sitting in a boardroom. It's rich and wealthy people screaming at each other. It's like a reality show, and you don't have the facade of actually playing the game to mask what it's actually all about. It's all about money. That's what all of this is about. It's all about money and building the biggest business you can. And unfortunately, because of COVID, we saw how the sausage was made for the first time, like for real, like raw. And it's awesome it was so much fun to talk about, like, whose side are you on, the rich person or the wealthy person? I mean, you could talk about that forever. Mm-hmm. Like the person that's pitching, like Blake Snell's a pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays who is like, I'm out. I want all the money. I don't care how short the season is. I'm the one taking all the risk. Well, you're the one taking all the risk with your body. Your employer's taking all the risk with his checkbook. So what's more important? And I don't know. That's what it was like forever.
Yeah.
For months. And then now with fantasy football, like, we got a text, lose our commissioner in our league. He's like, so what do you guys think about this? We're all flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
Like, if something happens, let's just do this. You guys cool with that? Yeah.
I thought that was a great rule change.
It was. And in another league, my commissioner's like, we voted, and it's like, nope, who you start is who you start. It's like an injury. You take a questionable tag going into Monday night, sometimes it's not going to work out. And that's what it's going to be like with COVID. So,
yeah, when the whole thing went down and I was still in the restaurant, what I was telling servers, because obviously they're all looking to me with questions. I'm the leader in that setting. And I was like, guys, I have no clue what to tell you. I'm in this too. We're all learning, not day by day, but hour by hour. Ducey's going to make an announcement at any given moment, whenever he wants to. It's nuts. So I can definitely relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners can.
Yeah. So you said you had to take your studio home? Because you said you got COVID June and you haven't been back. But you're
to the restaurant.
Oh, to the restaurant.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to not subject myself. And the crazy part, I think I got it but who knows? Like, could have got it at the grocery store. I have no idea. I have no, but subjecting myself to, even because the restaurant I worked at followed every protocol.
Yeah.
Everything. We were the restaurant that had a lot of crap talked about us because we made everybody wear masks when everybody else was going willy-nilly. And I still got it. I don't know. It was a trip. Yeah. But I'm better now. So it's good.
Thankfully, that's good.
Yeah, one thing that people don't know is, I guess for some people, it took me a month to test negative. June 10th, I was good. June 1st, June 10th was terrible. And then June 10th to mid-July, I was still testing positive. So I couldn't go back to work, couldn't do anything. And I was fine. Like, I felt fine, and I probably wasn't contagious at the time. I had to have my doctor write a note saying, he's not contagious. Take this. It's gold. Because at that point, it was I tested four times.
Did they... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Did they let you go back after your doctor said that?
Yes. I didn't go to the restaurant, but I did go. Like, the protocol was 10 days, no symptoms. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I had to get retested was because of the damn restaurant. I wouldn't have had to get retested otherwise, and it may have worked out better. But
yeah, because one of my, not Lewis, obviously, another brother, he got it a little bit after you, probably a couple weeks after you. And he was the same thing. He was still testing positive, but I think what you said, the whole 10 days, no symptoms. And then they brought him back to work. But he was like, I'm going to be honest with my coworkers. If they ask me, I mean, I've tested positive. I have no symptoms. So, I mean, that's how he was able to get back to work. But it did kind of suck for him, though, because everybody was like looking at him weird.
Totally.
And staying away from him. And
yeah.
Well, not to disclose where he works, but that's a government job. So, yeah, everyone is flying by the seat of their pants on this thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shit, man. You wanna talk a little bit more about how Z Tejas really?
Oh, you said it. I feel like nobody had said it yet, right?
I was waiting for him to name drop. No, I loved that place. To touch on restaurants, I mean, not that you guys want to hear me talk about restaurants again. That's all I talk about.
I love it.
But I think it gets a undeserved bad rap. Restaurants I've seen create opportunities for a lot of people because it's a flexible schedule, decent pay, so that you can chase your dreams, a la Mr. Clancy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny you said that the I'm doing some like I was like at this point I'm like I just need to make money. How can I do it from home? And it's funny you say that a guy that I served him and his family for 8 years at Z. I'm working for him now. Just doing like video. I'm teaching myself how to video edit because I'd be fun to learn, and I'm teaching myself how to do that for a company that he's started up. So yeah, it starts everything, and it's not, restaurants aren't all drug addicts and like what? So what is it? People think that restaurants are lazy alcoholics,
college dropouts.
Yeah.
The
People
need
with no other
immediate gratification.
Yeah, right. If you're in Hollywood, absolutely everybody's an actor. That's a good point. But yeah, it's not. It's just about. Yeah, I mean, it facilitates so much if you're trying to do other stuff.
Not to say that there aren't lazy people,
And that's
there
it.
are,
I mean,
but that's every industry.
Yeah. Chris.
What? I wasn't lazy.
Just kidding. No.
I just found that opportunity faster.
Right,
So I had to leave.
right. It came to him 2 weeks
No, I'm
in.
joking.
So clearly, like, we're going to restaurant. You found radio while you were working at a restaurant, and then you said, "Nah, radio, never. I would never see myself in that." Now you're here, and you're talking about you're doing video for this guy. So clearly, the entertainment industry has piqued your interest.
Yeah.
You've liked it. Do you see yourself like potentially going even further, or you're like, I like it?
Because I just turned 37, so it's a weird like. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, it's not old, but it's not young. And it's that weird existential moment where I'm like, do I still chase this? I've been thinking about this week, actually. Is it still worth chasing? Am I good enough? And I can finally say confidently that I'm good enough. Like it takes 10 years.
Yeah.
Like
That's
there's no some people get jobs earlier. Like there's a guy on the station I'm on that's 25. It's great. People get opportunities early. People are ready earlier. I had no training. I was a shithead that liked talking about sports and was good interpersonally with people, and I got an opportunity. But most of the time, I forget that anybody's listening when I'm talking to a microphone. Seriously, I mean, I don't like when I talk to my co-host for the podcast. It's like we look at how many listens we get a podcast, and we forget that they're real people. It's just we just see it as a number, and obviously we love the people that listen and everything. But it's like I forget that people listen. People text me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, what do you mean?
Matty Puddles? What was that?
That's my greatest tagline ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I am able to do it, and I've applied to jobs in other states, and I've gotten so close. I almost got a job in Boise. Like he's like, it was between you and another dude, and I took another guy. But for my own show, and I took the producer role that I have. It's not a step back; it's a lateral move, so I can build the resume. But at some point, I'm going to give myself a couple years, and if not, I'll find something. I'm smart enough, But yeah, it's entertainment. I don't even see it as entertainment. I just see it as something fun that I get to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is I guess. Yeah.
It is.
Like, I forget that people are listening. It's just
you're
about,
one of the lucky ones that gets to do what they love for a living.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, would you rather make 40% of what you're capable of making with your skill set to chase something, or be completely comfortable for the rest of your life and hate your life 80% of the time you're at work? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Because we're all gonna have to ask ourselves that question at some point.
Question.
Yeah, like would you rather be comfortable? Not obviously. If I'm gonna make $1 million a year, I'll shuffle whatever you want me to shovel. Yeah. I don't care. But like, if you can make double what you're making while you're chasing what you want with something that you loathe 3/4 of the time, it's like it'd be more conducive to starting a family, be more conducive to doing things like that, which is something I battle with a lot. But I don't know. Figure it out.
I haven't found that calling, so I usually chase the money.
Yeah, which is
I don't know.
You have a daughter.
Well, I guess that too.
Yeah.
No, Alex is Alex. I never call you Alex. I was very Clancy. Is
Clancy's
living
his last
proof
name.
that old dogs can learn new tricks. You are the epitome of the millennial. 30s are the new 20s, and you're out there chasing it.
Yeah. I do own something. I do own a property, though, instead of
Nice.
renting, which is...
Separates me.
And millennials. I'm a Zennial, okay? Google it. Zennial. There was a Wall Street Journal or New York Times article, the smart newspapers, that say...
Not locked on.
That say... It's 79 to 83 is Zennial. They're not...
79 to
83, yeah. Or 84, something like that.
You
It's
always
their
like
own
to
niche.
make yourself out to be special.
I have nothing in common with a 26-year-old.
I mean, I'm 27.
Yeah.
We have a whole lot in common.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
That's why he's at
my
26.
life experiences just by living on the earth 10 years longer, there's no... Why can you can't group us. You can't group us. That's like saying you and I are related because if I have a dark beard. That doesn't make any sense.
But you don't have a dark beard. You have
I know.
a very,
I have a
very bright
sexy-
red beard.
It's not... It's only bright red when it's long.
And it's usually long.
Yeah.
No,
Did
you
a
look good.
little
I like that you trimmed it.
Did a little trimsies for you.
No, there's a lot that you can lump us together for. Great hair, nice beards. That hair joke, he's got a really bad hairline, guys. Wish you could see
Yeah,
it.
I know. It's getting worse. It's a true story. After I got COVID, my hair started falling out.
Now I feel like an asshole.
No. Like
It was the stress.
No, it didn't start. Like I'm not bald by any stretch, but it's like it started. Like I started noticing it, and I don't know if it's been stress. Like I guess stress can cause it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I guess stress can cause it. That's what I should have said.
Not a question.
That was the wrong punctuation at the end of that. But yeah, it's kind of subsided. But after, like, it was like for a couple weeks after, I'm like, what is going on here? I'm looking like a Q-tip. What the hell's happening?
No, I'm thoroughly convinced you'd have a good head for bald, especially if you kept the beard.
I'd
It'd
have
be a
to
good
keep the
look.
beard.
Oh man, be a good look.
No, but I look like a Q-tip. I'm like clear.
Cute. You're clear.
Clear.
Get a tan, man.
He was so stressed out. You like,
You live in
what
Arizona,
am I
get a
gonna
tan.
look like? A goddamn Q-tip.
Go Crystal.
No.
I'm not gonna bald it.
I'd
I'll
still
comb
find
over
you-
first.
I'd still find you very attractive, man.
appreciate
Don't
that.
worry about
I
it.
appreciate that very much. Wish I could.
I'll get them. I got these right here
Same,
going,
dude.
so it's
Yep.
gonna happen.
I hate
but
you.
I'm not gonna do the ball. I'll just
Crystal
I'll
and
put a hat
I, we
on.
can't relate.
Yeah, you guys. What's going on here?
Louis should be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine for a while.
Yeah.
And then you're good to go.
And then Chris isn't. Yeah.
No, you guys are fine. It's
The
just
stress
like
of
your
growing up
brother-
with
your
Louis, man.
brother-
Yeah, there it is.
People around me start losing their hair. I don't know what it is. Apparently, stress causes it.
It might be me. I don't know.
Oh man.
Anyway, let's go back to things that matter, not hairlines. Do you wanna take this moment to plug yourself? Talk about your.
No, I don't know.
Wait, so okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna plug. I'm gonna say all kinds of Clancy
Fun fact.
stuff.
She's hitting
towards
you guys with all the
end.
handles.
Yeah, we'll hit you with all the handles. I have a question.
Okay.
What? Okay, so you said sports host, producer for iHeartRadio, and then you work for the Locked On
Podcast Network.
Locked On part. Okay, so how do you balance that? Like,
Well,
and what's?
So there's no affiliation between, like, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
so
gonna say.
there's so hypothetically speaking, like if I'm booking a guest, I can't get anybody from ESPN because we're with Fox Sports. So like that, there's a conflict there, kind
Yeah.
of. There's nothing. Podcasts are so. It's on a different platform altogether, so it's not affiliated with any. It's not an ESPN podcast or anything like that. So I can do both. I just record the podcast every day after the show.
And who's like, and who like, is this who started this?
So
Like, where did
David
this...
Locke. So it's actually kind of funny. It's kind of an interesting story. I was just applying for jobs everywhere, which you constantly do in radio. You just do. You're happy with your job. You're still looking elsewhere to see if you can get something not necessarily better, just keeping your options open. And David Locke is the play-by-play announcer for the Utah Jazz. Okay, I saw something on Indeed for a paid internship in Salt Lake City, and I reached out. I sent him my resume. I'm like, hey, I'm interested. Like, because I just want anything. Like, I'm like, that could get me something else. He emailed me back. He goes, your resume's too good for this. You're not going to want this. But I do have this podcast platform that I started a year ago, and it's starting to take off a little bit. We need a Cardinals guy because nobody wants to do it. And I'm like, at that point, the Cardinals were terrible, and they've been terrible, except for Bruce Arians' years. For a couple of years, they were good, but and I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I started doing that podcast. I was getting 35 listens a show, and I was making $11 a month. So it's all based on listens, and they didn't have sponsors, a lot of sponsors then. So it was a lot of talking negatively about a team that I really started to get to know over that time, and it was brutal. Like, it was brutal. But I get to talk. I'm like, what am I talking about? I get to do a podcast, like, and it's mine. And people they give me like all the reviews on Apple Podcasts were negative because all I did was speak the truth about the team. I'm not going to candy coat shit. I'm going to tell you what I see and what could be changed. And then, so I was getting 35 listens then. That was a hard year. The second year, it was tough also, but they were starting, like, that was 2018, but I got a co-host then. I brought a co-host on. And at that point, we were getting like 100 or 150 listens a podcast, which is still, the big podcasts on there were getting thousands a show.
Yeah.
Because they have the fan base or their teams are good. And now we're getting upwards of 800 listens a podcast. So we're slowly starting to build it. The sponsors are coming in. We're making a little bit more. It's still chump change, but it's ours now.
Yeah.
Like me and Bo Brock, who's done radio around Phoenix forever. He doesn't live here right now, but he's moving back soon. It's ours now, and we're getting finally a little bit more positivity to talk about. But the podcast platform is now like the big shows for people that the Cardinals fan base is tough. It's very
Arizona sports.
It's very transplanted. Obviously, Phoenix is nobody grew up here. That's like the thing now is that everybody has moved here. So like the Packers and the Steelers and the Ravens, and they have their fan bases are rabid. And the Eagles, like, name 80% of football teams, their fan bases are rabid, and the Cardinals just aren't. So we're building it, and it's good. And the platform is taking off. Some of those podcasts are in the top 10 of sports podcasts on iTunes across everything. So the platform's there. Yeah. And I was there pretty much and I was a year and a half in from the ground floor, and it's something that we've cultivated, and it's like my baby.
Yeah.
So that's like, and we're trying to get better and better, and it's our listens we're getting, the more people talk shit about you, the better you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's,
they're listening whether they like what you're saying or not.
It's like a lot of shit about you. You must be doing real well.
Yeah. It's the Howard Stern thing. It's like people, like, I don't know if you see, Private Parts is one of the best movies ever. This is showing my age, but it was Howard Stern's, who just got $120 million a year contract with Sirius. You see that? So the executives would tell him, they would get angry because Howard Stern he broke all the rules of radio. He broke every rule, and the people that were polled as hating him would listen a half an hour longer than the people that loved him, because they just wanted to hear what he would say next. So it's have plenty of haters because we speak the truth, and it's good. It's fun.
No, that's good. That's good.
But that's been the baby, and that I can do from home, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Did you work today? I feel bad if you did.
I was up at 4.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he asked me if we could do it earlier.
No, but it's
4
fine.
hours.
No, but it's fine. It's not like I chilled after work. I did some. I just appreciate my weekends more. Now that I don't work at a restaurant, I actually get weekends.
Yeah.
And when you do a morning show, it's like I'm done after doing video. I'm done at 1:00, and I have all Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah.
Because COVID.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Do you ever actually have to go out to Utah for the...
No. That was just
That's just where they're based.
Yeah,
Or
that's just where I got the start from. That's where I got the chance
Yeah.
to do it. I actually tried to do the Suns one, and they said they had just found somebody. I think it's a huge move that I got the Cardinals, even though it took a while. It'd be tough to talk about the Suns.
I actually listened to the Suns one a little
You do?
bit. Yeah.
Who is it? Evan Sidery? Or Brendan Clean? I think it's.
I didn't really care for it, so I stopped listening. To be
well,
entirely
they're
honest,
super statistic based, like
yeah,
all next gen
which
stats.
I loved, but I do think that they are rainbows and kittens,
Yeah.
and
Which is
they've
what a
got
lot of
such
podcast people are.
positive outlook for the Suns. I'm like, let's be real.
Yeah.
You guys need to badmouth Sarver just a little more.
Yeah,
You've got a lot of fuel there that you're not using.
but you can get a lot more bees with honey than
Well,
Vaseline. What is it?
No, PD Pablo. Shout out Pete Cook. Pete used to say, you can catch a whole lot of bees using honey, but you can catch way more honeys. No, you can catch a whole lot of flies with honey, but you can catch a whole lot more honeys being fly.
That's it.
Wait, was this that one guy?
Pete Cook, yeah.
Dude,
Peter
I
Cook.
remember that guy.
Yeah, he's sober.
Yeah, he's been sober for a while.
Sober.
I was like, I think he hated me.
Oh, this guy used to take shots of tequila, pour the salt in his eyeball, and then like squeeze the lime in his eyeball, just for shits and giggles.
No, he snort the salt.
Oh, snort the salt, shoot the lime in his eyeball. This guy was a fucking
Yeah,
animal.
but people do that. That's a thing.
I didn't
That's
know.
a college thing. I saw that in Colorado a lot. Idiots, frat guys. You know.
Pete wasn't even a frat guy.
No.
No, Pete actually taught me a move that worked for me once. I've only had the balls to do it once, but just next time you see a hot girl at brunch, order a glass of milk for her. What? Yeah. It worked, man. She was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "You were cute. I thought I'd buy you a drink." It was a milk. I don't know.
It worked?
It worked. Yeah.
Petey.
What does work mean? Like you sat down with her, or
No, like we
did a little more?
We
two
talked a
straws?
little bit
Yeah,
while we
these
were
are
out in
just
Old
restraining
Town. I got her
order.
phone number. Yeah.
Oh,
like-
okay. It worked. She said hi. And then
Well, yeah,
walked
I mean-
away.
glass of milk's cheaper than a beer.
That's true.
So to me, because I'm like on the outside looking in, and like you were saying, I love my job, but an opportunity is an opportunity, network, whatnot. Clearly, sports is your thing. So to me, iHeartRadio is like the biggest of biggest. Now let's say like, has ESPN ever piqued your interest? Like, damn, that's...
I mean, but ESPN's like I've never hosted, like I've co-hosted shows for years, and I've took this producer role again, but like I've never hosted a daily show by myself, which is something that I want to do, and I don't care who hires me to do it. I'm gonna if it's in Tucson or if it's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I don't care.
Shit, you almost moved to Boise.
Yeah. I was ready. Like I was like, I think I'm gonna get this job. Like I was ready. Yeah, that was a bummer. But so iHeartRadio is just, for those, it can get kind of foggy with what iHeartRadio is. iHeartRadio is just a conglomerate of radio stations across the country. Some are big, some are small. Like on the floor, I'm on the floor with John, Jay, and Rich, and Tim, Ben, and Brooke, who are like the biggest. I couldn't imagine what their listener numbers are. They're the biggest thing. Tim, Ben, and Brooke always win country music awards for their morning show.
Yeah.
And I'm adjacent to them. I walked by Brooke this morning. So it's like, that part is really cool. It's really surreal, where it's like, man, these people are like stars.
Yeah.
We're not that. Like Cage AM is, it's a different animal. So like with ESPN, yeah, but it's like those people, like I have a buddy who does a podcast for the Locked On Network that is on ESPN Central Texas. Like something like that, sure. But it's like, there's no way I'm going to get a job in LA right now. Like it's not going to happen. So I just focus on getting better and showing up to work every day early and doing the best I can do and figuring it out. But yeah, iHeart is just a conglomerate of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of radio stations with a cool logo.
Yeah.
It's a cool logo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. Do you want any chicken nuggets? So let me tell you a little bit about Lou.
He's like, let me tell you.
Skewers.
No. We're jumping 4 steps. So, Sweet Lou. But by the way, I coined the name Little Bunny Lulu, just for the record.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I do remember that.
I
Because he was
remember that
singing
name.
like a dummy, setting me up on a silver platter. He was singing Little Bunny Foo Foo for some
Listen,
reason.
when you're rolling silverware after a $2,000 shift, you know, you're just a little wired. You're ready for zips.
I never sang that. So,
Well, you're
so I
also
got
37
anybody that says Little Bunny
now.
Lulu, that's me. I trademarked that. Okay. But Lou, for those that don't know, loves McDonald's. Okay. I know that you two know this.
Used to.
But the people listen. So I want to see if I can get this right. So this is after he has dinner. Okay. He does whatever, and then he's like, "I'm still hungry. I'm gonna go to McDonald's."
I want to preface this. This was what I would eat when I was like 19, 20.
To like 23.
Okay, before metabolism just slowed down.
Okay.
I don't eat like this
okay.
anymore.
It's
listeners.
not
I
your
don't eat
time.
like this.
Okay. So let me see if I can, because I'm always gonna get this wrong, but you're gonna get the idea. Okay. He gets a 20-piece chicken nugget. I think he gets 2 McFlurries, 2 apple pies. Let me get there. Let me get close. Okay. And then I know there was at least 2 other sandwiches that you would get. I can't remember. It wasn't quarter pounder with cheese. It was something like that. But it was like 10 items.
The apple pie's got to be higher, though, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm like,
Well,
Okay.
he said 2 apple pies. What he meant to say was 2 orders of the 2 apple
apples
pies
for
for
$1.
$1.
For $1.
Which
Okay.
are $1.50 now.
4.
I don't know that because I frequent.
Yeah. Okay, so just give this was my favorite. I'm like, when he told me this, I'm like, you're
Well,
lying.
no, because you get off work late, and if the squad isn't trying to go to Zips, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to pick something up to eat on the way home. So
on the way home.
You don't have to get everything on the menu.
No, it's not everything on
It's
the
not
menu.
a competition.
To me, it was.
I know.
I think that's the big problem is that you don't take things seriously enough, Clancy.
I don't take my calories seriously enough.
No, I was bulking. No, I'd get a 20-piece chicken McNugget,
No doubt.
2 orders of the 2 apple pies, 1 McFlurry, M&M, not Oreo.
How dare I.
M&M.
It's always
Yep,
M&M.
how dare you?
It's always
I would do the quarter pounder meal with cheese.
so that's fries and a drink also.
Yep.
Okay.
Blue Powerade, large fry.
Yep. Like a gentleman.
And then a McDouble and a hot and spicy. That was it.
that was
That was
it.
it.
That was all.
You were close. You were very, very.
Did you
That's
ever
10
watch?
items.
You
More.
used to introduce me to your tables. This was back when I was a food runner, actually.
Oh,
You would
yeah.
introduce me to your tables. Hey, this is my nephew. He eats like a motherfucker. You know how Dwight Howard eats a lot of candy? Well, this is him. This is Dwight. Just small and Mexican.
I didn't say the Mexican part. That's for sure.
And you watched
Maybe I
Super
said
Size
it.
Me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did see Super. Dude,
That
at
was
the
just an
time-
inspiration.
At the time, I was eating like an asshole, and then I was going to the pool, and I had abs, you know? And
Yeah,
someone,
for sure.
I can't remember who it was that said it to me. I honestly think it was one of my managers at Abercrombie. But she was like, you need to calm down. Your head's getting too big. Abs on a skinny guy are like boobs on a fat chick. They don't count. I was like, whoa. I was like
That's
buck
true.
60 at the time, so she was on to something.
That's true though.
205 now, guys. But no McDonald's. No McDonald's.
He's still 150. No, I'm just kidding. For anybody in Lincoln,
I eat a lot of
Nebraska.
Subway now.
Subway?
Salad and Go. Salad and Go is
The best.
Dude, it's the most slept on drive-through restaurant.
Their
I don't know.
portions are for their
Large.
pricing is
You
it's
can get
awesome.
a salad, a breakfast burrito, and a
Yeah.
cold brew for $10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$10.
Those breakfast burritos are $2.99. They're legit.
Yeah, and then the salad is $6 and the cold brew is
$1 the other
$1.
day.
$10 before tax. You get a salad, a breakfast burrito, and a cold brew.
Yeah, they
Salad
took
and Go.
away-
That's
what
our
did I-
first plug.
That's
our
our
first
first-
official plug.
we're-
We're not even getting paid
Speaking
for this,
of,
guys.
This
We're
episode is
passionate.
sponsored by Salad and
Yeah,
Go.
really.
Episode is brought to you by the motherfucking Salad and Go.
That's hilarious.
You talk weird sometimes.
Well, I'm a Zennial, so.
Lasagna, no.
You're a
Get my club, man.
millennial. He's a zennial.
Listen, I
I'm gonna
learned
have to
everything I
Google
know
that.
from Clancy. Honestly, always find people that are older than you to learn from. I was told by a mentor of mine back in college that learning what not to do is still learning, and so thank you, Clancy,
Yeah,
for
very
all
good.
that you taught me not to do.
Nice work.
It's helped me.
Nice
helped
work.
me in life.
Nice work there.
I have a question.
Go
Again.
ahead.
No, I
I'm
love
just
it.
kidding.
Fire away.
So you said you were like kind of zennial, stuck in your ways of the whole watch somebody and determine and make a judgment. And you were like, yeah, I have to kind of learn from like people like Lewis where they're all stats. Like, is this something that you've recently, when you're on radio, you're like, let me try to put a little bit of stats, or you're like, no, I'm stuck in my ways, but I might incorporate the stats, or are you?
So stats are a funny thing, and the reason why I stay away a little bit more than some, and listen, I get both sides. Like Pro Football Focus, there are websites that make their money on stats and statistical analysis. But
I love Pro Football Focus.
Here's the thing, is you could find a stat that could prove any point. It doesn't matter if it's right technically or wrong. Like, for example, and actually Lou, something I learned about Lou was Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is the quote-unquote MVP of this season for the NBA.
Not quote-unquote, he is.
Okay, we're not going to get in this debate today. 6'10", he's incredibly gifted. He's one of the best success stories the NBA has ever seen over the last 5 years or 6 years, however long he's been in the league. I think he's the most overrated player in the NBA right now, and this is I have my theory because I've watched games and saw his shortcomings. He's still great. You can be great and be overrated. Like I always thought Aaron Rodgers is one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the NFL history because he's great, but he's not in the top 1% like everybody thinks he is. This year's kind of proven me wrong a little bit.
Skip Bayless,
The past
everyone.
2 years don't count.
Why?
He's been throwing off 1 foot. I mean, he can do that very well, but
Is he the quarterback of the Ravens?
no.
So Giannis isn't good outside of 5 feet on the offensive side of the ball. And I know that because I've watched it. And then I go say, listen, if the stats back me up, I'll go with that point. If they don't, I'll scrap it. But you can look at the stats for Giannis and his points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game are through the roof. So you can say, what are you talking about? Look at this stat. This proves my point. So both are right because I find stats that say outside of 3 feet, he shoots under 40%, which isn't good. And if you're the best player in the league, you should be able to shoot over 40% outside of 3 feet.
If Russell Westbrook's an all-pro shooting 40% from the entire field, I think that we can say that Giannis shooting 75 within 5 feet and then 40 outside of is still warranted of being the MVP. I mean,
So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Neither of us are wrong, except for him.
Except for him.
No, but it's like that's the thing with the stats is I'd rather watch and make opinions based on that than what somebody told me because he shoots 2.8 free throws a quarter instead of 3.7 that he's devalued. It's the dumbest shit in the world. It's watch the game, give your theories based on what you watched, and if you want to have stats to back it up, cool. If not, I'm cool with that.
I will say that you're probably right that it's a generational thing, and I learned a lot talking to you and Baker because I relied a little too heavily.
And Baker's right in between us, right?
Yeah. Well,
so
yeah.
How old is he?
Honestly, I say you're in between us more than Baker is.
32, I think.
Baker will watch a football player and he go, man, that guy's.
I'm saying age-wise.
Yeah,
32.
in between us. Yes, he's 32. Yeah. But I'd say you're in between as far as like the eye test versus the box score because Baker's all eye test.
Yeah.
He'll watch a guy have 10% of the snaps. He's like, dude, that's the fucking guy.
Yeah.
Did you see him? Look at his bounce. He looks so good. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason he was undrafted and this guy was taken in the first round. They want this guy to play. What are you talking about? I'm going to draft that guy. All right, you do that.
Yeah.
It's nuts to me, but
yeah.
Somewhere in the middle, that's, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the
where you lie.
answer. It's like you kind of have to find the medium where you don't want numbers to dictate what you think. Yeah. Sometimes that's not necessarily true. You want to have your opinions, and regardless of what your opinion is, unless it's a fact, 80% of most people are gonna disagree with you anyways. Yeah. So you stick to your guns. I stick. That's one strength that I have is if I'm wrong and the fact has changed, I'll obviously be like I was wrong. I mean, I have no problem saying I was wrong. But if I have an opinion, like I think Lamar Jackson isn't going to win a Super Bowl unless he learns how to become a pocket passer, so like that's a perfect example too. I'm sorry if this sports stuff is over your head, but it's the point that I don't know how much you love sports.
No,
She does not.
Ahead.
Okay, then I knew that. I didn't want to. It's not because it doesn't matter. But like Lamar Jackson,
I identify as a man, so
There you go.
I'll stay tuned for the next podcast. You guys talk.
Yeah.
Like Lamar Jackson, I don't think he'll win because his Achilles heel is not being able to be a pocket passer when it needs to be. And then you have all the Ravens fans come out and saying, look at the numbers, all the next-gen stats saying that he's the best pocket passer in the league. Show me.
I got one. I don't think you're wrong on that. I think he should be a better pocket passer. But my thing from watching him as a Ravens fan, I think he's not ready for the big moment. Like, he's lost both playoff games, which if you put in Joe Flacco against the Chargers, we might win. And then you put once he starts turning the balls over, to the Titans. We get blown out. And then you see Monday Night Football against the best quarterback in the league, and he loses. I think it's the big day, the big night. The nation's on you, and I think that's where the spot's just too big for him right now.
Totally.
And that's a lot of coaches talk about that too. When they draft a guy, if they like two guys and they find them comparable, but one of them played in the SEC versus, Pac-12, which Clancy refuses to recognize as
It's relegated. Relegated to high school.
Yeah, ASU U of A is not a rivalry.
I'm not going to do that now.
Anyway. No, so a lot of coaches take that into account. Like, Joe Burrow has been in bigger stages than any stage he's ever going to be in a Bengals uniform. They're not going to have the amount of people in the stands that he had at LSU. That's just not a thing. So, and I mean, where did Lamar Jackson play?
Louisville.
ACC.
That's a
It's a barn burner.
yeah.
Well, look at who the Cardinals drafted, Isaiah Simmons. In the ACC, he can't get on the field. But something like that is like the next gen stats will say one thing, and then I'm looking and I'm right, and I'm not going to get off that horse. I'm going to say that. You can yell at me all you want, but I'm right, and I'm going to continue to tell you that I'm right until you realize that I'm right. And unless something changes. I want every athlete to succeed. Like, it's not like I have it out for Giannis or Lamar Jackson, but at this point in both of their careers, I am right. Yeah. And until they prove me wrong, like I hope they do, I hope they all win championships. I'm gonna say,
well, now
suck
you're
it.
sounding like a communist.
Nothing's yours. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it goes back to, like, your Locked On podcast where you were saying, like, you had 11 views because people were getting pissed off, and you're like, no, I'm saying what I agree with, and then now you're at 800 views because
It
like,
resonates
yeah,
with people.
like there's
And the Cardinals are getting
you're not
better, which helps.
sugarcoating it like you were saying. So
Yeah, because there's a lot. Most podcasts are, which is fine. Like I
well,
wish.
like the Suns, when you were saying, you're like,
And
they're
those
just
guys are
kind of
smart,
being.
man. I know both those guys.
Definitely, but I do think that they're a perfect example of people that skew stats or they read stats through the lens of what they want the outcome to be, because they are a very they're not looking at stats to find truth. They're looking at stats to reinforce their belief. So you can pick and choose. We have a running joke in our group text for one of our fantasy leagues where it's like, this pitcher's really good against left-handed batters with blue eyes batting into the sun in September when his team is up 2 runs. There's a stat for everything, and you can find a stat that reinforces your belief or backs with your thought process. And so I do think that they are definitely stat-driven, and I love stat-driven sports analysis. But
you also
think
need
that
the
it is a little
Clancys.
biased, and they are. No, I mean I listen to Clancy because we're friends, not because I like what he has to say.
And those two guys are two of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Like,
They're very
it's
intelligent.
next level, man. Like I can't.
I do want to shout out to something you said once that I was like, man, you were talking about the draft with the most recent one with Zion in it, and I think it might have been the draft prior, but you were talking about how the draft is Christmas, right? Everyone's got these presents. You don't know if the presents are going to be any good, but then there's these top tier athletes. The number one draft pick, the clear number one draft pick. That's the star on top of the tree, and I can't remember which draft it was, but you were saying there's no star on top of the tree. Today's just all it's all trinkets. But everyone's excited because it's Christmas Day, so they're going to trade away everything, mortgage the future for trinkets. I was like, oh, man, that was a good take. I like that.
Thank you.
So you've got it
That's
in you
my one.
sometimes.
That's your one.
That's my one.
Oh, we
you
said
get.
Matty Puddles earlier.
Yeah.
At the end of the podcast, it was, cut that part out. Just cut it out. I actually don't want that.
Every time we make a joke about cutting something out, I go back and listen after we publish, and we didn't cut it out. And we leave in the cut that out.
Right? Is there... Clearly, all sports. Sounds like baseball, football, basketball. But is there, like, one that you enjoy? I'm going to take it as football. You enjoy?
Well, it's basketball.
Oh, it is.
Basketball's my
It
love.
is.
Yeah. I grew up
Okay.
playing that.
Clancy's a big Lakers fan.
But here's the thing: is I grew up there, so I have the get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Not these idiots who.
Live
the Clippers.
live there.
Certain fan bases, you have to explain that you're like, I've been a fan. I am a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a LeBron apologist, but I'm a rational LeBron apologist. Like I don't understand why So yes, basketball is my answer. Football, it took me 8 years to learn. Like football, it's so intricate. And I don't know half of it. Like there's so
Who knows
much.
what a catch is?
Yeah, really. I mean, there's so many layers to learning the game and blocking schemes and packages, and it's crazy. And basketball's always been. I can just talk shop with basketball. Like I have, and yeah, I love it. I mean, because the game is changed, but it's still pretty finite. Like there's only 10 people on the field and on the court and not 22.
Yeah.
And it's not hockey. Who the hell knows the rules there? And baseball with all of the sabermetrics and all the analytics, numbers have taken over baseball. Yeah. It's just so it doesn't even matter who's wearing the jersey anymore. As long as there's numbers compute with the most amount of wins in a year, that's the person that's going to play, which is
Ridiculous.
Basketball always will have that natural just playground, anybody could play feel.
I think there's a reason that basketball contracts are the biggest contracts right now, aside from Patrick Mahomes. But they're the largest contracts in American sports. And baseball's longer, but I'm saying the most annually. I mean, Steph Curry's making what, $45 million?
Yeah. John Wall's making a lot.
John Wall 38, and that's
James
John
Harden.
Wall. They're very large contracts. I think that a large part of that is that the NBA markets its players where other associations market the team more, and these players they're stars. You know, you see them all over commercials. The NFL is still riding Peyton Manning's coattails. You know,
yeah.
And the NBA's got James Harden commercials. They've got Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid. They market the hell out of stars. You're not watching the Lakers play the Heat. You're watching LeBron James versus Jimmy Butler tonight. Bam Adebayo's back, going against Anthony Davis. They market the matchups. They market the players. When you tune in for a football game, you're watching your Packers beat up on the Bears, and the NBA has done a great job at that.
So I got a question because I personally, I liked basketball a lot, but now I won't watch it. I don't like it anymore. It doesn't help that the Suns aren't any good, right? But
you got a weird crunch of teams. You're wearing a Mets jersey.
Oh, this was like $10, so I got
okay, cool. All right, cool.
No, so anyway, but I do have a weird. It's when you got a dad that doesn't watch any sports.
Yeah,
and you gotta find
I always have to explain that to
people.
people.
That's how it goes.
My dad did not like sports. We picked our own sports teams.
That's cool.
You just watch and see what you like. Anyway, but as you said, being a Zennial, you watch Jordan and how he used to get beat up on the court, and now you watch these guys and they don't even get touched, but it's a star going down the lane and they get a foul. See, that's what made me stop watching basketball. I didn't like watching all that.
James Harden ruined it for you?
No, not James Harden. Well, it might have been the Suns being bad, but that just piled on top of it. And I didn't even watch those games. I didn't watch basketball. I was born in '91, so. Yeah. So has that hasn't changed it at all for you? Because I have older friends too. I worked at the post office. Mm-hmm. The average age there's like 45. Mm-hmm. So they all like watch that, and then they all hate on the younger players now. So
for sure. Now people they put in a rule for flopping 6 years ago or something where you get charged or you get fined $5,000 if you pretended to take an offensive foul and it wasn't an offensive foul. It was a Manu Ginobili rule.
I was gonna say the Ginobili rule.
Yeah, or Vlade Divac, whatever. But
does Pat Beverly know about this rule?
Well, now it's just everybody's doing it all the time, and it's gotten out of control, and it's not. And people complain about every call, and it hasn't. Maybe it has always been like that, but now it's under kind of more of a spotlight.
I think it's the European influence in basketball. You've got a lot of kids that grew up playing soccer now playing basketball, maybe, and that's been around forever.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, soccer players are the worst for that. It's the thing that bothers me the most, and I swear this is another thing that I'm just going to sit on because I'm right. A three-pointer is 26 feet away from the basket. Okay, 26 feet. A layup is 2 feet away from the basket. They're 1 point difference. Why is inside the three-point line lava now? And nobody will do it. And all the analytics, Daryl Morey is the general manager of the Houston Rockets. Okay,
loves
analytics. He's been the Houston Rockets GM since I think 2009 or something. They haven't won shit. Okay, but
not a regular season game.
He's okay. Yeah, and I know they were up. We were sitting next to each other when they blew their 3-1 lead against the Rockets when they went against the Warriors when they went 0 for 23 from 3 in a row or something in the second half.
Yeah,
I wasn't also with you. he implemented this thing. He went to MIT. He's this genius brainiac where it's like, this is what's going to happen. It's free throws and three-pointers, and that's it. And then you watch Steph Curry just run the league by being able to shoot threes from 40 feet with some sort of regularity. And he's like, we're going to triple down on that. We're going to get James Harden, and we're going to get a bunch of shooters. And this obviously didn't happen overnight, but we're going to shoot 50 threes a game, and that's how we're going to win. And it works until it doesn't, and then you lose to inferior opponents all the time because you refuse to go.
You live by the three, you die
Yeah,
by the three.
it's like it's trying to hit home runs every play. And you can dribble to 8 feet away and shoot it, and it's only 1 point less. But the analytics, fucking numbers, are ruining everything. This is where the numbers ruin things. Is just watch the game, dribble closer, and you know when you're trying to put something in your dirty clothes hamper, you don't throw it from outside. You go up to it and you just put it in. Why do you have to throw it?
But what if I told you that if you threw it from outside and you made it,
It would be clean automatically?
That it would be worth, yeah.
Did it automatically be clean? You wouldn't have to fold your laundry?
You would be more likely to beat your roommate to the washer first. Yeah.
That's interesting. I live alone, so I don't really understand that. I digress, but I get it. So things like that just bother. So that's basketball. Is like, at some point, you're going to have to realize that some people can do things really well. Steph Curry's changed the game forever, but that's him. It's like everybody trying to do what Michael Jordan did. It's like nobody can do that. It's just him. So Steph Curry, he's the only one that can do that. James Harden tries, and he shoots from 30 feet. He makes a lot of threes, but he's the worst teammate. He's the worst person to play with in America, but the numbers say that he's great. So people say that he's great, and he gets paid $250 million in a contract, but they always lose. So that's what bothers me about the game today. Yeah. That's what bothers me. And he's right about the star thing. That's like...
It's easy to do for basketball because there are only 10 people on the court.
Well, and it's a global game.
One man can influence the game more in a basketball game than they can in a football game.
Like, people in China know who Kobe is, know who Kobe was, know who LeBron is. They don't know who Patrick Mahomes is.
Nope.
You know? And it's David Stern, like, not a huge history lesson here because I can talk about this forever.
I love David Stern.
David Stern was the commissioner before the one now. And
that might be when I kind of stopped watching, too.
Adam Silver
came in,
yeah. He's got some ears. When David Stern came in 1984, all of the playoff games were on tape delay. So it's like you're watching a sitcom. It's like none of it was live. It's like, what the hell's going on here? And they were losing money and everything. And then he's like, we're going to play live games, and we're going to send all of our stars to the Olympics in 1992. We're going to send everybody because then everybody's going to know who the stars are in the NBA. And that's where it started. And that was it. From then on, it was the team still because free agency wasn't as crazy as it is now. Mm-hmm. But because now he's right. It doesn't matter what jersey you're wearing. Like when the Lakers and Celtics used to play, it used to mean something. It doesn't mean shit now because it's just
now
it's the
Jason
star
Tatum's
versus star
going up against LeBron.
Yeah,
nice.
And it's changed now. The monster is kind of turning on David Stern because now the stars have all the power.
You mean Adam Silver?
Well, no, it was David Stern's monster.
Oh, yeah. That he created.
Yeah, and now all the stars have all the power. So now they can do what they want. They can flail.
Yeah, but you hear a lot of interviews from players that played under David Stern and then played under Adam Silver. Like Shaq will say, when David Stern walked into the room, you were scared.
Yeah,
it's like, oh fuck,
that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
Adam Silver walks in the room. It's like, I make you money. What do you want?
Yeah,
I
give you a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Silver is the most progressive commissioner that
I think
ever seen.
He needs to have a more iron fist. But
he hasn't. Well, he kicked Donald Sterling out of the league. His first thing he did, so people respected him immediately.
Yeah, but that was man. When you get handed a layup as your first move, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you love basketball.
Yeah, that's the answer. We'll talk about basketball forever.
Is that what do you primarily speak on your
everything?
The
podcast is just Arizona Cardinals.
No, I know that. I meant
on the show that I produce. Yeah. It's everything.
Oh, okay, good. I'm like good because I feel bad if you're only talking about football, and I clearly just saw your love of basketball.
Most of it is football during football season. It's been a weird year because everything's normally each season has their own segmented time, but it's just kind of been a March Madness start to finish for 2 months of all the sports
without
at
the
once.
March Madness.
Is there like
hopefully next year?
How you were saying when you brought up hockey, you're like, who the hell knows what's going on?
No, I like hockey. Hockey playoffs are
exciting.
Yeah. Is there a sport though that you're just like, damn, I kind of don't know, and you had to just learn or start?
It was football. Like I thought I knew
was
football, and so I started talking on the radio, and I was like, I don't know anything about football. It goes to the circular thinking thing. It's just you have to learn.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
And more than I already, it's no, because it's the 4 majors and college sports. I mean, maybe college basketball. I've completely separated.
But
from.
even then, no one watches college basketball.
But
until March.
it's also 3 stars, and the rest is just coaches. Mm-hmm. It's the coaches that have been around for 30 years that make as much money as professional basketball coaches. Mm-hmm. That's it. See, again, with stats, you're kind of pigeonholed into talking about stats, but storylines you can talk about forever. You can talk about history. You can talk about the coaches. Just about college basketball as a whole. How
speaking of history. And how much you love basketball. You don't want to talk about high school, and don't you own a record?
Oh my God, probably not anymore.
Ah, well, you did.
I owned the 3-point record in my school, man, in a game.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Because of the analytics?
Hit 8 bombs.
No.
Yeah, someone that talks all the shit about 3-point shooters, and that's all my guy could do.
No, I transitioned from point guard to 3-point shooter because that's what they needed. My team needed.
And he's just such a selfless guy.
I am.
Multifaceted.
Got more selfish recently.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more fun to be selfish.
Alex Clancy as a server is Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. If I told Melo, hey, so you're going to lose 5 shots a game because I want to put another server up in the 80s and 90s with you, plus the 700s, I think that needs 2 servers. Melo would go, nah, fuck that shit. I'm taking 35 shots a game. I might not talk about your table tents. I might not talk about. I might not offer dessert to every table when I drop a check, but I'll tell you what, everyone's gonna leave happy.
Yeah, they'll be well
and,
taken care of.
I'm dropping 35. I'm gonna be the scoring champ, and you'll like it. All right, yeah, Melo's taking 35 shots. Cool.
No, it got to a point where we were so short-staffed and they didn't trust anybody else up there.
I know, but then it wasn't that anymore. Yeah. And Clancy was like, no, I've been doing this. I can do it. Yeah. Shut up. And then the manager would go, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I got 0 help. They're like, all right, well,
if you're up there, you're up there.
You're gonna do it. I was on an island, and I loved every.
No, you and I killed it one season up there. I crushed it.
Yeah, it was like Fight Club. It's just like every day feels like you're just drowning into the next.
They're talking about serving right now, guys. The season.
Serve in a restaurant in a mall during Christmas time.
In a warm weather place.
Oh man,
where everybody flocks. Yeah.
Black Friday in Fashion Square as a server is. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't miss it at all, even though I miss it.
I miss it so much.
I miss it.
But I know the moment I step back in,
what am I doing here?
Like, what?
It's time to go home, yeah.
And then I'm gonna trade places. I'm gonna be the older, experienced.
Just won't be as good as server as I was.
Battle-worn veteran. Oh, much better. And then there's gonna be this young 20-year-old kid thinks he's hot shit and eats way too much McDonald's. I'm like, listen, man. You're way too into analytics. I need you to watch the game with me.
Stick to one apple pie, okay?
Fucking come on, man.
Just stick to one.
Real quick before we let you go, I just wanted to say, I don't care what Lewis thinks, because clearly you guys have some sort of little battle, but I think you're a badass. You work for iHeartRadio. You're a sports host, producer. That's pretty fucking cool.
That's cool.
You said you were working in a restaurant, you were a server, you started off radio, and then you went to the trademark store. I mean, like, if you had any advice, like I said, you're a badass. So if you could give any advice to like somebody who's currently right now in restaurant or wherever they may be, retail, and now you're this guy who walked by this morning by Tim Benenbrook, like, what advice would you have for them?
Don't stop working hard. That's it, and talk to as many people as you can. Like me reaching out about a $12 an hour internship as a 32-year-old in Salt Lake City got me the podcast that I have now.
And the radio stuff is
just show up to work every day and kill it. Try to, at least.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, I got one question. A little more of a fun one. Well, sure. More of a let me make you work to, clock back in. Because I drafted Christian Kirk. I thought he was going to be Will Fuller, man, with DeAndre Hopkins there. What's going on with Christian Kirk? Or really, Cardinals wide receivers?
It's a good question.
This is just for my own
It's a good
question here.
We actually talked about this on the podcast today, so this is a good question.
Oh, shit.
They don't have a number 2 receiver because everybody expected Larry Fitzgerald to be 28 years old again.
They wanted him to be? I thought Christian...
But Christian Kirk, he shows flashes.
Yeah.
There was a pass, I think it was against Detroit. He had a long bomb down the sideline that he tipped up the sideline that Kyler Murray dropped in for him that was good, but nobody wants to take that mantle. And I don't know if it's Cliff Kingsbury right now not being able to call the correct plays, or it's Kyler Murray being hesitant to make a mistake because he doesn't trust.
Waiting for Andy Isabella.
Well, and he has 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games. He had 3 through 3, and I just don't know if Kyler Murray doesn't trust. Like, this is another thing that I've been workshopping. That Kyler Murray may not trust the defense, so he's trying to do too much to try to put up points. Because he doesn't think the defense can stop anybody. Nobody believes me, but just continue to watch them be porous on the defensive side, which changes everything. It's not organic anymore; it's forced. Right. So Christian Kirk, I would have said stay away. Yeah. But who knows? They just need to figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, put it this way: mark my words. If they lose on Sunday, somebody's getting fired.
You think so? All right.
Yeah. Somebody's getting fired if they lose to the Jets on Sunday.
Hot take.
It would be Vance Joseph. It'll be Vance Joseph. But somebody's getting fired on Sunday if they lose.
All right.
No, they're not. But if they do, I think somebody's getting fired.
Wide receivers, I have no idea.
No.
Stay away from all of them. That's why I drafted Hopkins. I did in our league, right? Yeah. I have him in 4 of my 5 leagues. Don't ever do 5 leagues. PSA.
Yeah.
What a huge
Absolutely.
Yeah. Set it and forget it, man.
That's all I got. Yeah.
No. Continue.
That's it.
Oh no, man. Well, that's just what I wanted since I got the expert here. But dude, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you too,
after
man.
a long time, man. I'm glad you got better. I'm glad you're
Thanks.
doing good too.
I miss you, man.
I miss you too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Sweet hangs.
yeah, sweet.
Sweet hangs.
I miss Sips. I mean, oh man, it's so long ago. We had so much fun.
A whole lot of fun. I love this, man. But yeah, let's talk about your handles. Give you a little shout out. We can sign off. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Big guy in the house.
Yeah.
You didn't have to
Stop.
do this. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
No Irish goodbye today, man.
Irish
You'll have
goodbye.
to say bye today.
That's my favorite fantasy team name.
Dude, you and Joe taught me the Irish goodbye. Sorry,
Joe
trying to
is-
sign you off.
Okay,
but
real
Joe
quick,
is the king.
For those that don't know what the Irish goodbye is,
Joseph Armstrong.
First of all, you have to be Irish, I think. Hello. I have the skin pigment for a reason. I get to use Irish goodbye is when you just peace out. It's some people call it a Houdini, which is stupid. It's if you're at a bar with friends or you're at a party with friends, out
don't
at
even
all,
say goodbye.
you just peace out.
The Irish goodbye.
Yeah, Joe is way stealthier than I am, I think.
I've gone an entire hour before realizing Joe was gone. I
Yeah.
just thought he was talking to other people.
Yeah.
And then the whole group gets in. Like, where the fuck is Joe? Yeah, he is. His Irish goodbyes are. He's
The
Batman.
hardcore.
He is Batman.
Yeah.
You turn around, he's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're pretty good at it too.
I'm good at it. When we used to be able to go out.
Yeah. Stupid
No, thank
COVID.
you. Sorry.
No, close it up.
No, thank you. Truly, Alex. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I don't think, again, I'm going to say it once again, I don't think you realize what a badass you are.
Thank you.
That being said, you guys, he was a server. He started off being a server. He worked his ass off. He was just doing all this kinds of work, and now he's a sports host producer at iHeartRadio. So thank you. If you guys, I know so many of you loved what you heard today. So if you guys want to get in touch with him, definitely listen to his podcast, the Locked On Podcast. And then you can find him on Instagram at Clancy's Corner, ClancyScorner, in case you don't know how to spell corner. Thank you so much. As always, you guys, subscribe and rate the Willetta Effect podcast. Thank you so much. Alex Clancy, the Willetta Effect.